This is the AI Brief, brought to you by the YPO Technology Network, and I'm Stephen Forte. The new rules of the game. Today we'll talk about why the Wild West of AI regulation just ended and why every CEO needs to audit their tech stack by Monday morning. Let me paint you a picture. For the past 2 years, we've been living in regulatory chaos. California passes an AI bill. Texas passes a different one. New York adds its own twist. If you're running a company that operates in multiple states, you're trying to comply with a patchwork of conflicting rules that would make Kafka dizzy. But on Friday, the White House dropped a comprehensive national AI framework that changes everything. And here's the kicker. It's not just for tech companies. If you use AI to screen resumes, handle customer service, or automate any business process, you just became an AI company in the eyes of the law. The Wild West is over. The new sheriff is in town, and ignorance is no longer a defense. Let's get into it. Story one, the federal preemption play. The White House framework does something critical. It preempts state laws. That means instead of navigating 50 different state regulations, you'll have one federal standard. Sounds like good news, right? Here's the catch. The framework doesn't create some new Department of AI with vague guidelines. Instead, it empowers existing agencies to enforce existing laws on AI systems. The EEOC will police your hiring algorithms. The FTC will monitor your customer-facing chatbots. The Department of Labor will scrutinize your employee monitoring tools. And they're not going after the companies that build the AI. They're going after the companies that use it. Let me give you a concrete example. Say you're using an AI tool to screen resumes. The tool systematically filters out candidates over 50. Under the new framework, that's age discrimination. Same as if a human HR manager did it. The fact that it's software doesn't matter. You're liable. Or say your customer service chatbot hallucinates. That's when AI makes stuff up and promises a customer a refund policy that doesn't exist. Under the FTC's interpretation, that's false advertising. You can't blame Microsoft or OpenAI. It's your chatbot, your liability. The framework makes this crystal clear. If an AI agent is doing the work of a human employee, it needs the same oversight, governance, and compliance checks as that human would. Here's what this means for you. Every AI system in your company just became a potential compliance bomb, and the fuse is already lit. Monday morning action. Audit every single AI touchpoint in your business. Where is AI making decisions about people hiring, firing, customer service, credit decisions, pricing? Map it all out. For each use case, ask yourself, if a human did this, what laws would apply? Because those same laws now apply to your AI. Story two, the global governance groundswell. While Washington was dropping its framework, the United Nations kicked off something called the Global Dialogue on AI Governance on March 18th. Now, before you roll your eyes and mutter, the UN doesn't matter to my business, hear me out. This isn't about some distant international treaty. This is about the standards that will be baked into every vendor contract, every cross-border data transfer, every international client relationship you have. The UN dialogue focuses on aligning AI use with human rights and sustainable development goals. Sounds fluffy. But here's what it actually means. If you're using AI to process data from EU customers, or if you have remote employees in other countries, these global standards will trickle down into your compliance requirements faster than you think. Remember GDPR, that EU data privacy regulation that suddenly applied to every company with a website? This is GDPR for AI, and it's coming. The dialogue specifically calls out AI used for surveillance and discrimination. If you're using AI to monitor employee productivity or make decisions about customers, you're in the crosshairs. Here's a real example. A YPO member who runs a logistics company told me last week they use AI to optimize delivery routes and monitor driver performance. Seems harmless, right? But under emerging global standards, that driver monitoring could be classified as workplace surveillance. And if the route optimization systematically avoids certain neighborhoods, that could be algorithmic redlining. Monday morning action? Pull up every contract with an international SaaS vendor that uses AI. Start asking them how they plan to comply with emerging global AI governance standards. If they don't have an answer, you have a supply chain risk. Get it in writing that they'll maintain compliance as standards evolve, or start shopping for alternatives. Story three, the workforce reckoning. Buried in the White House framework is a directive that should make every CEO sit up straight. Congress and the Department of Labor are tasked with studying AI's impact on the workforce and enforcing existing labor laws against AI management tools. This isn't theoretical. They're specifically targeting AI used for hiring, firing, and employee monitoring. And they're not waiting for new laws, they're using existing ones. Think about what this means. That AI tool that ranks your sales team's performance, if it systematically disadvantages older workers or working mothers, that's a violation of existing civil rights law. That productivity monitoring software that tracks keystrokes and mouse movements, if it creates a hostile work environment, that's a labor violation. The framework recognizes something profound. As we enter the age where one employee might manage a dozen AI agents, the line between human and machine decision-making is blurring. And legally, it doesn't matter which side of the line the decision comes from. A manufacturing CEO at a recent YPO event told me they've deployed AI agents to handle quality control, customer complaints, and even first-line supervisor decisions. Each of those agents is making hundreds of micro decisions every day that affect employees and customers. Under the new rules, each of those decisions carries the same legal weight as if a human made them. Monday morning action: review every AI tool in your HR tech stack immediately. For each tool, demand transparency. How does it make decisions? What data does it use? Can you explain its logic to a regulator or a jury? If the vendor says it's proprietary or it's a black box, that's not an explanation, it's a liability. Establish an AI acceptable use policy for your employees. Make it clear what they can and cannot do with AI agents, especially regarding sensitive company or customer data. So let's tie this together. You might think you're just a manufacturing company, a logistics firm, or a regional retailer. You don't build AI, but the moment you deploy an AI agent to handle your customer service, screen your resumes, or manage your supply chain, you've crossed the Rubicon. The new federal framework makes it crystal clear existing laws apply to AI agents just like they apply to human employees. If your AI discriminates, hallucinates false promises, or violates privacy, you're on the hook. Not OpenAI, not Microsoft, not the vendor who sold you the tool. The Wild West era of deploy first, ask questions later is officially over. The companies that thrive in this new regulatory reality won't be the ones with the most sophisticated AI. They'll be the ones with the most sophisticated governance. Audit your AI touchpoints. Interrogate your vendors. Treat your agents like employees, because in the eyes of the law, that's exactly what they are. That is the YPO Tech Network AI Brief for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. I am Stephen Forte. If this was useful, send it to a fellow member. I will be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay sharp.